Yeah, well, here we are this morning at Wellington Point, and I have with me Lyndon Christopher, who is one of the founding principles of H.E.L.P. And what does H.E.L.P. stand for, Lyndon?
It's a healthy environment for livestock and pets.
Yes, and you started that in 2005,
That's correct.
and you feel it's now necessary to reinvigorate that organisation. And tell me, what is your specific issue with the local government of the Redlands?
We have a real problem here in the Redlands in that the Redlands City Council seems to be anti-animal of all kinds unless they are native fauna. Now we in H.E.L.P, like all animals, including native fauna, but we believe they all have a place to live together as part of our society. Now the animals that we have in our own homes, be it whether they be dogs, cats, fish, birds, even snakes or lizards, they are all part and parcel of God's creatures who are given to us to help us to live and to teach us lessons about life. Now, I personally love dogs because I've had dogs now since I was 2 years old, and I find they have a good understanding of people.
Now, just back on to dogs again, and actually a fan of dogs too, because dogs, unknown to a lot of people, have been domesticated with humans for around 15,000 years.
That's correct.
And they're virtually to the point now where a lot of them think like humans, right?
I think
They've been a part of it, and they're an essential part of particularly the elderly. And you told me a story about your two dogs here, Brokaw and
by Syrian.
Syrian, and they're on loan to you. A breeder gave those dogs to me, and can you tell me the circumstances of that?
Yes, I had been in hospital for a long time, over a period of over a year, and I had lost my two other Cocker Spaniels through a very traumatic situation where one of them was killed and one of them was ripped to pieces by a vicious American hunting dog.
Yes,
So when I came home each time from hospital, I found I was living in an empty shell.
yes,
There was no love. Whenever I went out, I'd think about my dogs who I'd lost,
yes,
and I got more and more depressed. To the point where the last time I was hospitalised for over 4 months, and nothing the hospital staff could do from a medical, psychological, or general health aspect was working. So in the end, I left hospital basically with the health system having given up on me, and I had to decide whether I wanted to live or I didn't want to live. Now, through circumstances, this lady, who I'd known for a number of years through her having had Cocker Spaniels and breeding Cocker Spaniels, saw the position I was in, and she offered me these two dogs as therapy dogs. Without these two dogs, I wouldn't be alive today.
well, that's an amazing story, and excuse me. Yeah, look, the cameraman's just had a fit here, but apart from that, look, I've known you for some time now, and I've got a dog which I consider to be a therapy dog too, and You got an interesting background. You were an accountant in the Department of Defence.
That's correct.
Yes. You actually came here from England when you were 2 years of age, and your great-great-grandfather was a redcoat running around all over the place. But I suspect you're not the sort of person that just takes things lying down. And so, like many people are prepared to stand up. We live in a society today where people feel sort of disempowered. We all feel like kangaroos blinded in the hunter's spotlight. Now, fortunately, I've had a bit of a chat to you, and a lot of people in the state of Queensland are not aware that we now have a Human Bill of Rights Act, and from the 1st of January 2020, people are able to submit, excuse me, I had a prawn that went down the wrong way, but we're able to submit to the Human Rights Commission grievances in terms of what is happening at the local government level and the state government level. And this is one of the few things that I believe to be the most significant piece of legislation that's come into Queensland the last 10 years, because you do now have freedom of speech, unless you're sexually vilifying, racially vilifying, or just being a general bloody pest. But you are able to speak your mind, and excuse me, and there is some suggestion you may be submitting a quite an extensive report to the Human Rights Commission. Is that correct?
At this time, I'm considering it.
Yes.
I haven't made a final decision on it yet,
Yes.
but it's certainly something I'm going to take seriously.
And then you have 4 other principals as well. So you're one of 4 people, and
Five.
one of 5 people, and the other people don't necessarily need to be named at this point in time, but you're not alone.
No, I'm not alone.
And you have how many signatures on the petition that you put forward?
The first petition that we have endeavoured to lodge with Council has a total of 1,166 signatures, including mine.
Yes.
We do have more signatures, more petitions being completed at this time. So it's my estimate that we will probably be up to well over 1,500 signatures at this time.
Yeah.
I haven't done an exact count, but it would be in that vicinity.
And you're starting to get a bit of organisation behind you.
Yes, I
People have offered to put up Facebook pages, and really now's the time to talk about these things. And the particular thing that's aggravated you and got these people to sign the petitions is, I believe, and I don't live far from the point myself, is this rather innocuous law that says you cannot take dogs to the Wellington Point Reserve of a Saturday and Sunday, including on a leave. And we've had the ludicrous situation where people are travelling from all parts of southeast Queensland to see Wellington Point. They front down there with their dogs. In one particular case, they got a $600 fine for their troubles.
$600 for 2 dogs being
Yes.
2 little tiny miniature Shih Tzus.
Yeah.
Who were walking there on their lead,
Yep.
bows in their hair.
Yeah.
The man, his wife, and child in the pram.
Yes.
And they'd only been there for 10 minutes. And he was accosted by the dog control aficionados.
Yes.
Who we call Gestapo.
Well, it's probably a bit severe, but
I know, but it's.
but you are entitled under freedom of speech to your opinion, and
I mean, the main reason we call them a Gestapo is because, first of all, their uniform is black epaulets, black belt, black trousers, black leather boots, and in winter they wear a black coat.
well, perhaps if they wore green, it might be more appropriate,
Well,
or blue.
I've suggested to the mayor that if we're the Redland Coast, maybe they should have hibiscus coloured shirts.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that the will of the people, and you've got a lot of signatures and a lot of people, particularly in the Wellington Point area, that love dogs, and they're scared of confronting the bureaucracy in terms of retaliation, which I think is rather sad because they are the servants of the people, not the other way around.
They should be the servants of
Well,
the people.
we actually pay for them to serve us. Public servants.
That's correct.
That is the correct term, a public servant, right?
The problem is, and there's very few of them realise that they are employed by us.
Yes.
They think they're employed either by the CEO
Yes.
or by the council.
Yeah.
And none of those things exist without
Yes.
us, the people,
Yes.
paying our rates,
Yep.
paying our fees,
Mm.
and so on.
Well, the thing that amazes me is I've got a few friends. I know the mayor, the deputy mayor, the local councillor, and they're all doing corporate governance courses because they're positioning themselves as business-like entities. And yet, from my experience, extensive experience, as being chairman of my own public company and on the board of 6, they really don't understand what corporate governance is all about, and
They do either.
and they need a little bit of help there.
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure that I'm not one to not. They are a product of the system, and people don't want or like people who want to change the system. You know what I mean?
I like order.
Yes.
I like order because
Yes.
when you've got order, things flow, things work better.
Yes.
But I don't see complete nanny-state control
Yes.
or laws that are introduced which penalise the people who are doing the right thing, but in an attempt to stop the people doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
But they end up punishing the 98% of people who are responsible anyway. They actually punish those people who are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense to me at all.
Isn't that great about our dogs? They're great watchdogs.
Yeah.
They're not going to let anything happen to you. But yeah, well, I think that episode 1 of H.E.L.P and your actions, we pretty much should wrap it up for the day. And
Thank you
you've
very
got things to do. And thanks for coming on to Good Morning Redlands Coast.
I appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.